am so excited to be here chatting with Yinova practitioner and fertility expert, Brunn, about our fertility coaching and support group. Anne is an acupuncturist, herbalist, and the leader of our fertility coaching and support group. She's been with Yinova for over 10 years and has been practicing Chinese medicine for nearly 15. Throughout her practice, she has focused on helping women optimize their basic reproductive health and realize their fertility goals. She's also taught women's health from a Chinese medicine and Western medicine point of view to students of acupuncture. And thank you so much for chatting with me today. I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about Yinova's 8-week fertility coaching and support group.
Well, I'm really glad to be talking with you about it today, and thank you for that introduction. I thought I would start just by talking a little bit about how we got started. Our first group was almost a year ago. It was the very beginning of the lockdown. This was a time of, great upheaval and uncertainty, and a lot of our people we were working with were having to suspend fertility treatments, and it was a time of real need for direction and guidance, information about what to do next, what's coming next, and also a place to feel safe. We really wanted to provide a safe environment for people to talk about what was going on with them, both emotionally in terms of pandemic issues, and as well as, the real struggle to continue on their fertility journey without knowing what was going on around them immediately. And, today we're in more of a time of transition. Things seem to be opening up more. So we're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable, but what we've learned is that there really is a continued need for support. A lot of us are still not traveling very much, not leaving our homes very often. So we're still, much closer to being in place than we used to be, and we're fully adapted to Zoom. So it seems to be a more acceptable and comfortable place to meet each other. And we really so we want to connect with people in our immediate community, but it's also such a good way to continue connecting with people outside of New York. We've had, in our previous groups, we've had people from across the country, and it's been a really good experience and a way to give them the benefit of our support and our knowledge, even from a distance.
That's great. So over the 8 weeks, what sort of topics do you cover?
Well, we have a different theme each week. And in each session, we have a combination of information and questions and answers, of course, which can usually just pop up anytime. And then always a chance for women to share their stories with us, and the members can update us as to what's happened with them during the week. And we usually give a little bit of a homework assignment that's more oriented to self-care than anything else. So we start with a thorough understanding of your cycle. This is something that some women have, some women don't have as much information about it. So it can provide a lot of detail that might have been missing in some women's knowledge of their own cycles, including helping you track your cycles and understanding the different ways to do that. We go into the Making Babies fertility types in depth. If you've read the book, if you just started to read the book, if you're planning to for the group, you'll see that that's a way that we really structure a lot of our information. So it helps you understand where you might fit in there in these types, how the types combine, and how to kind of make sense of some of the types in relation to your own body's behaviors. We give you advice on optimal nutrition and supplements, on best sex practices for conceiving, the timing, the frequency. We will also have a guest speaker to talk about assisted reproductive technologies, IUI, IVF, why you might consider these processes, what kinds of cases it can be helpful, with, and how the protocols might be different for different types of conditions. And we'll have another guest to really help us handle the emotional upheaval that can happen on this fertility journey, the anxiety, the stress of uncertainty from month to month. So we have a really great person who can give us lots of ways to help manage these, these upheavals. And we'll also take a closer look of some of the more common challenges to fertility, like PCOS, like diminished ovarian reserve, endometriosis, and other issues that you might be having. You can feel free to bring your own particular issues. And of course, we'll always answer your questions about that. And there's more. Every week can bring up some new things for us to talk about.
It sounds like a really thorough approach to understanding your fertility situation, which makes me wonder, how does this group differ from other fertility support groups out there?
That is another good question. There are a lot of groups out there, and I'm really happy about that. I want to have women get as much support as they possibly can. What I found is that some of the groups don't have much structure around them. So one of our goals was to really create a structure that would be helpful for people. And that, again, that starts with the information and the expert guidance and its topic for each week. So, you'll always have something that we're really going to focus on each week. Plus that combination of the information with the chance for women to share stories, ask questions, and we'll keep the group small. So it will be able to be a more intimate gathering, and you'll have more time. We won't have to leave you out from one week to the other because there are too many people in the group. Plus, I think one thing that's really special about our group, which is also special about our treatment at the center, is that we blend the ancient wisdom of Chinese medicine that we're also steeped in as practitioners with the most up-to-date Western approaches, which, because this is our area of expertise, we are really well versed in these too, and we provide a great blend of those two in the group as we do in our treatments. And of course, as I mentioned before, we'll have these guest speakers, and it's such a wonderful asset for us to have them, to really have this time on such a small group basis, and have them really focus on our group and give us the information that we need to help people move forward, move through these these paths, these parts of their journey, and the emotional piece, the self-care, the ways to manage the stress, and really special techniques. I think those guest speakers are a real highlight for our groups.
That sounds incredible. I'm curious to learn more about how the group is different from a virtual consultation or an in-clinic acupuncture treatment. What are some of the benefits of joining the group versus just coming in to see one practitioner?
Yeah, well, and I think that's a good question. I would say the amount of detail, first of all, is really, the focus, the particular themed weekly sessions give a kind of depth of detail that we just don't have the time or the opportunity to do in either our virtual sessions or our in-clinic sessions. These are also a wonderful complement to those virtual and in-clinic sessions, because you might have a talk with your practitioner about something that's going on, and we will take that and kind of go deeper into it to give you a little bit more information about it. So it's really an extended FaceTime, gives you a chance to ask as much as you want, get all your questions asked. And of course, one of the big differences is the community aspect. We know how important community support, group support is in any kind of challenging journey like this.
Absolutely.
That really gives you the opportunity to gather with women on a similar pathway.
Who would you say would be a good candidate for this group? Is it better for starting your fertility journey or when you've been trying for a while?
Yes, is the answer to that. Any stage of your journey, this is a great group to be joining, even women who are just barely starting to think about it. Because what we do is we talk about this idea of a premester, which is like the 3 months or so before you actually try to conceive. And it's not that we ask you to wait for these 3 months, but anytime you start your to start working with us and focusing on your own care during this time, you're going to start reaping the benefits right away. And then the longer you do it, the more cumulative they are. So really any of those times when you're at the very beginning, or if you've been down the path and you've had more than one IVF or have had a miscarriage, or it can be, anywhere along the way, what we do is really help you find ways to optimize your own health and, to become empowered to take the best care of yourself for the best chances of a successful conception.
That's great. What have been some of the more surprising or positive outcomes from the previous groups? You've mentioned that you've been leading these groups for a year, so I was curious to see what things you've learned.
Yes, well, it was great because, of course, I didn't know exactly how they would go in the beginning. And one of the things that impressed me and just made me feel so happy from the beginning was how quickly the members bonded. I think they really felt a sense of safety and comfort and wish to share. And they were, I was so honored they were willing to share their stories, some of them very painful, some of them, very positive, but all open to each other's, personal stories. They shared their individual knowledge, all the resources they had come up with during their path to fertility. They learned so much from each other, and I learned from them. That was one of the really wonderful things too. I loved hearing different things that really helped me widen my own horizons and information on this. Also, I was really glad that they appreciated as much as they did the information that we gave them. Some of them had expressed initially that they were more interested in the community support, but then many of them would say they learned more from one session or another than they had known before, and it was really an important maybe aha moment for them to understand how to take care of themselves better. And then one really wonderful outcome has been that from our previous groups, at least half of the women have conceived, and even 2 have given birth so far. So we're very excited about that. Wow. I had the chance to meet one of the new Yinova babies the other night online, and it was really wonderful. Yeah,
that's amazing. So what happens? Speaking of, what happens when the group ends? Where do they go from there?
Well, we don't like to just take you to a destination and drop you at the door. We're with you all the way. So one of the things that I will say that happened spontaneously, again, that I'm so pleased about, is that many of the women from our previous groups are continuing to meet on their own, just because of the strength of their connection and the power of their support. So many of them are continuing to meet in their own meetings. I've met with them a couple of times just to have a little reunion. So that's been a really wonderful continuation, the chance to continue the support on your own. And of course, we are always here at Yinova. We're here to do continued virtual follow-ups if that's what works best for you. We're in the clinic to see you for in-clinic treatments. I'm, treating a lot or working with a lot of these women in the clinic, and as are other practitioners. And we set up a resource portal. So if there's something that you read or something that you've heard about or somebody that you met or a new technique you heard about, anything like that, you can add it to our resource portal. And a lot of the women have been very happy to have that. They've gotten some valuable insights and information from there. I'm here by email, always happy to hear from you with updates, questions, concerns. We are here to follow through in any way that you need. And of course, we're also can work with you throughout a pregnancy and even postpartum support. Very, it's a great thing to do to help yourself recover, to help really get into that phase of your journey as well. So
it's incredible. It really does seem like just an incredible resource and tool to be able to offer our community. So thank you so much for leading this group the way that you have and for providing people all of this information and empowering them about their bodies. And thank you for speaking with me today about the group.
Well, you're very welcome. I've enjoyed it. I love talking about it. It's been such a wonderful resource.